Hey, what's going on, everybody? Boilon here, and welcome back to another video on Lord of the Rings Home. Now, we do have Elrond coming out in about 6 days or so. It's going to be next Monday, but there's been some murmurs and some discussion about how the team after the elves in the Rivendell team is going to be a shadow team that may, in fact, counter this Elrond Rivendell team. A free-to-play method, mind you. Now, what'll be really interesting, of course, is that we don't know, and the team that I'm talking about is the Haradrim, but this video is not specifically to talk about that. We're actually here to talk about the counter to the team that's not fully out yet. Yes, we're so meta going on right now because there's not that much to talk about. So, Elrond and Rivendell being that team in question, people talking about how Haradrim are going to be that counter, and now I'm here to tell you about a single character who could be the counter to all of that and more. So we're going to be talking about that in this video, and special shout out goes to our coachee of my I was going to say my alliance because I'm used to Marvel Strike Force, my guild cluster. He's one of my guild cluster leaders who kind of put this into my thoughts, and then I looked it over, and then I was like, yeah, let's make a video about this. So we're going to do that. We're also going to cover a little bit of the Haradrim as well, because I think that people need to understand what exactly is going on with all this counter nonsense. So if you're ready to go, everybody, then let's boil this down. And if I wasn't confusing enough already, we're going to get to this in a kind of point-by-point thing. And I just want to start off, of course, giving people a little bit of a recap of where my L's sit currently as we lead up to Elrond next week. I'm almost there. Leliel is at 102 at 130. Lomian's at 85 out of 130. My Leliel kind of jumped ahead for some reason. Now, I know that we have the extra bit of Lomian shards at the very end of the login calendar, but that's going to be like 3 or 4 days into Elrond's event, and I kind of wanted to have him ready for Monday, so I am putting about 2 more refreshes into Lomian every day. I actually got very bad luck today. I think I got 2 shards only, so that was in 3 attempts. Super bad. So I'm hoping to get a little bit further ahead for Lomi, and I think there's 12 shards coming up in a calendar soon, and 12 for Leliel as well, or something like that. Leliel should be fine. Lomi and I need to do a little bit more refreshes in Elrond 5-star, Elrohir 5-star, and Naramiri 5-star. I don't know what level in gear tier is the recommendations for the 5-star event. I don't know why they don't tell this kind of stuff. But I'm hoping that because I put more effort into Elrohir and Elrond, that they can carry the fight for me, because I really don't want to level the other 3 as much. They're sitting at gear 4, and I kind of want to leave them where they are for the most part. I don't want to put too much investment into them. So fingers crossed that these 2 can kind of carry the battle for me. So first off, what am I talking about? So Elrond obviously isn't out yet, and I'm not going to be... Oh, I clicked on the wrong character yet again because I have butterfingers on my mouse clicks. Elrond's not out yet. But what we know about the elves and how the Rivendell elves are going to function is that they function with a lot of boons. They also function where they get additional bonuses if they don't have Banes. So, the team that people have been talking about lately that's going to be the free-to-play counter to the elves is the Haradrim. Now, they're not fully out. They were data mined a little bit, and there's 2 characters missing that are not part of the team yet. One of them is the Haradrim Sage. That's their old minion name in the beta. And I believe the Haradrim Blade Master. So 2 characters, one kind of a support character, a healer, and then one of them kind of a more control-based character, I believe. I don't remember too much from them. And then we have the 3 that exist right now. Wu Beite is a tank with an AoE. Yeftu is like pure single target DPS, and Robel is a mixed bag, I think. I mean, she's got like an AoE attack, and she does does she have the tank tag? I don't think so. I guess she's just like a spear attacker, but she does have AoE. I thought she had taunt for some reason. She does remove turn bar, and oh, she does. Yeah, she gains a stack of provoke, but she's not a pure tank, I suppose. But yeah, she does have that anyways in her kit, and she removes turn bar, and so that's kind of nice, I guess, as well. She has a decent amount of that in her basic, about 20%. But the whole point of their kit is that they have this black serpent poison thing. And so when this unit receives a boon, prevent the boon and inflict a stack of poison. In a Marvel Strike Force terms, it's kind of like a disrupt, but it adds a poison on top of it. Now, what's really interesting is that the Black Serpent Poison can keep stacking up, but the only way that this works is that you need the Haradrim Sage character as long as they keep it the same as the beta, because he has a passive that basically shares all of the Haradrim passives with each other, which means that, you know, because the only way to get Black Serpent Poison right now is with Robel's passive on crit. So only she can actually apply the Black Serpent Poison, which is why this team is incomplete. It requires the Haradrim Sage, who is going to share Robel's passive with all of the other Haradrim. Basically, the on crit, gain the inflict the Black Serpent Poison, and then you need, I believe it's Wubete's passive, Yeftu's passive, who is going to give the crit, the additional crit chance, which allows for that critting to apply the Black Poison from Robel. Okay, so that's the whole gimmick, I guess, that I think is going to go on with the Haradrim team, unless they get severely reworked in the, you know, because they might with 2 more characters. And that actually brings up another question. Are these characters going to be marquee releases? And I guess we don't really have that kind of data yet. You know, we've had Arwen and Eladin, they've been the marquee adventure releases. Is every character going to be a marquee release? And I guess this is maybe a question to some of you in the audience, because I don't really know from a Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes perspective, because this is from Capital Games. What do we expect for, you know, character releases in the next 2 to 3 months? Are they all going to be in this sort of marquee release method that's Elrond aside, of course, you know, or are we going to see some go direct to farm? Are we going to see some like a node farm? Direct to a node farm is what I meant to say. Are there going to be some other methods, some sort of other event? What should we expect? And I don't really know, because I don't have that backdrop history in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. You know, in Marvel Strike Force, there's a variety of different unlock methods, a lot of them through existing game modes in some sort of event milestone fashion. That's pretty common in Marvel Strike Force, and they actually don't really do the sort of the marquee adventure style very frequently. If we're lucky, we get like one of those like once every 2 months, which would be like an event campaign. So yeah, I'm not really sure what to expect with this team, with the Haradrim team. They're going to be a very powerful shadow team, and this very likely could be what ends up happening after the Elves as far as character releases go. Just some spitballing, you know, I was thinking that it was going to be, you know, after the Elves and Rivendell, it was going to be the Haradrim, and then we may down the line get some Nazgul. People are saying that the Haradrim are actually going to be eventually the unlock for the Witch King, but then of course, typically, I mean, they may have to take a month or 2 to release the Nazgul before the Witch King, unless they just drop the Witch King standalone, and then who knows, maybe there's going to be a sprinkling of Legolas and Gimli, because they've been kind of teasing the Fellowship a little bit there, but who knows, and Treebeard, I don't know where all this fits, but honestly, what we need to talk about is now the counter to the... Okay, so hold on, let's back up a little bit. Haradrim is supposed to be the counter to the Rivendell Elves. Now, whether or not that this ends up being the case, there's a couple reasons why I'm a bit skeptical, is because they have so many boons. I don't know if the Black Poison is enough to actually get that all accomplished. They also do have some cleanses in their kit. The Arwen can cleanse negative status effects, and hypothetically, you could actually like throw in Eowyn if you wanted to as well, and that would give you an extra cleanse as well with some additional boons. She's actually a really good standalone character, so there might be ways to counter this. There's one other character that I want to talk about, and kind of the main purpose of the second half of this video, as to a character that already exists in the game, a singular character in the game who may actually counter the Haradrim in the Rivendell team, to put in there to kind of screw up everything. And that's going to... I don't know why my mouse sucks when I wish that there was PC clients for games, because God, BlueStacks is such a piece of garbage. Anyways, this guy here, you may have heard of him. His name is Harindiel. I think I said that right. Anyways, he is a Gondor archer. Actually, I'm pretty sure in the beta he was named Gondor Archer. I think that was his minion name. And there's one reason why he could be the counter to the Haradrim. Now, if you put him in place of, say, Lomian, because I feel like that's the most flexible spot. If we're talking about the Rivendell team, we're talking about Arwen, we're talking about Eladin, we're talking about Elro here, and Elrond if you do get him. And then there's that 5th spot of Lomian. But I feel like he's the most flexible spot because he doesn't have a lot of great utility in terms of that. So if we plopped in Harindiel in that spot, at least in Arena anyways, I don't know, don't know if you would need to do that anywhere else. He has this one skill, and it's called Fearsome Volley. Attack all enemies for percent damage, and then, you know, as you get up, you'd probably want to get it to level 4, always inflict enfeeble. What does enfeeble do? Critical chance decreased by 25%. This is pretty interesting, because if we go to F2, now I'm just going to, because it's faster than for me to do this, I already have this pulled up over here on this side, so we're going to open this up, and on LotR.gg, and the passive here is gain 12% crit chance. While this character has no Banes, gain an additional 13% crit chance. So that's 25% on top of the base 10% that all characters have. So I don't know what level you need to get that, if it's a maxed out passive or not. But anyways, if that is shared with the rest of the Haradrim team, that would give a crit chance of approximately 35% per character. Now, again, this is probably like a level 6 passive, I don't know. And so having harindiel on with enfeeble on everybody, this will give you a minus 25% crit chance, or aka basically reduce it to base. Now, if they don't have a maxed out passive to get that full amount, hypothetically, this could actually drop it down to 0, depending on if they have Banes or not. As far as I'm aware, the elves aren't super known for having too many Banes. I don't think there's that many. There's, I guess the expose from Elrond here, and Elrond has the weaken on his basic. I guess they're slow enough. You know, actually, there's some. So, if in that matter, if you just have enfeebled, this could drop it down to 0%. And they can't do their black poison without critting. This is a pretty easy counter to the Rivendell counter. A character that is available free to play, that you can get him right now. And actually, in fact, I am farming him on the side just in case. Who knows? I might end up leveling him after I'm done with Elrond and Arwen, because I'm not fully built on. I don't have Arwen finished yet. I mean, I'm still farming a lot for my elves, and so, you know, I'm not done. I still got a lot of work to do, as I'm sure the rest of you do, in terms of your roster, because, you know, the resources accumulations are pretty slow right now. But you know, this character was really good. Like, if we just look at the full kit, and I do have him up on here, because I think it's a little bit easier to notice, that the Fearsome Volley does attack all enemies for 170%, inflicts enfeeble for 1 turn to everyone, and on kill, this seems a little bit less likely when you're going up against, you know, these types of characters, maybe good in the campaigns. On kill, do an extra attack on all enemies for 120% damage. It's not so much, maybe good if you're wiping out like minions or summons or things like that, but it is on a cooldown of 3. Which is quite impressive. His special is also on a cooldown of 2. I think this guy's a bit of a sleeper unit that people don't really talk about. Attack the target for 310% damage. If the target has nimble, deal 360% instead, and it cannot be dodged on a cooldown of 2. His AoE's on a cooldown of 3, so you don't need to have a 2-turn enfeeble for this, because this is going to be going off like every other turn. His speed is pretty fast. He's 100... Oh, it's blocked. Okay, sorry, my frame's in the way. But his speed is 155. So he's actually faster than all of the current Haradrim characters, including Robel, who I believe is the fastest at 154. So unless the Haradrim have a way to improve their speed in a passive on one of the other characters, then this guy's going to go first, and he's going to add that enfeeble, which is basically going to eliminate your ability to crit, which is the whole thing about the Haradrim. So I don't know. This guy could be kind of the character that you might want to keep in your back pocket. You know, maybe not level right now. Maybe you might want to just get him to 3-star anyways in advance, just in case. But if you are going for the elves, if you are going for Elrond, then this might be the character who might single-handedly counter the Haradrim in a future arena defense meta. If they're trying to use the Haradrim against you to beat you, now obviously this could open you up to just, you know, a mirror elf match again, and then you get screwed for having harindiel on your defense. But I think that this guy is a bit of a dark horse that people aren't really thinking about, and I wanted to raise this guy to you because I think he's very interesting. I think because a lot of people are talking about the Haradrim as like the next shadow meta, and I think that this guy, at least in the arena context anyways, has the ability to shut them down. But obviously we don't know too much because we don't know the full extent of what the Haradrim might be in terms of the other 2 characters, if they're going to rework some of the existing characters. But we do know that critting and applying black poison is their main shtick. So if they're not able to do that, then they're going to have a lot of problems, and harindiel could be that problem to the Haradrim. And that's the end of this video, everyone. So just think about him. you know, add them to your farm list and do that, you know, once. If you can spare the 60 energy, why not? Take them to 3-star, because that's where, you know, you want to kind of take a lot of your other characters, because that's a good spot to be in, I think. And yeah, just do that, and we'll see how things go over the next week. Just wanted to do a little bit of a news update video as well, just in general, just to talk about the game a bit some more on the channel. So hope you all are doing well, and of course, until next time, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you all later. Boilon signing out.